Hello, everyone. I'm Carly, and chestnut, more like D's nuts.
That's not what I thought you were going with.
It's the only thing I could come up with.
And I'm Paige, and I've never seen a twist coming in my life.
Yeah. And welcome to Read Receipts. Today is a very exciting episode because we have our first guest of the year and a debut for this guest in particular. Welcome to the podcast, Paige!
Thank you.
My
Hi.
sister-in-law.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to be here with you. This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Especially, too, because you and Taylor both told me about this book. So
Oh, yeah.
it felt only right. Like, if I'm going to do this with anyone.
Yes. Taylor and I had a great time. We listened to this book, and I'm really happy we did because I think it's a really well done audiobook.
I agree. I don't remember if I said what book we were covering. But in today's episode, we are going to be covering the book Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Cavanagh. And if you are not familiar with what this book is about, I will read the back of the book summary for you now. One dark evening on New York City's Upper West Side, two strangers meet by chance. Over drinks, Amanda and Wendy realize they have much in common, especially loneliness and an intense desire for revenge against the men who destroyed their families. As they talk into the night, they come up with a perfect plan. If you kill for me, I'll kill for you. In another part of the city, Ruth is home alone when the beautiful brownstone she shares with her husband, Scott, is invaded. She's attacked by a man with piercing blue eyes who disappears into the night. Will she ever be able to feel safe again while the blue-eyed stranger is out there? And that's it. It's a very quick little blurb there. So, if that sounds interesting to you, I highly recommend pausing this episode, going and reading it, and coming back because there will be full spoilers ahead. There's too much to talk about in this book to not just get into it.
Yeah.
So, you have been warned. Okay. So, Paige, before we get into talking through, like, chapter by chapter stuff,
Yes.
How did you feel overall about this book?
Overall, I really, really, really liked this book. I don't say that about every thriller or about every audiobook, for sure. Definitely not every thriller audiobook. I feel like that's like a particular combo that is kind of hard to do well, but was done really, really well. It's very, like, they literally mention strangers on a train by name, which I appreciated because it's like the parallels are so obvious.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's the care that the book takes with the topics is really great. Like from like PTSD to grief to like all of these things, but it's also a gripping thriller.
Yes.
And that's cool. That's rare.
Yeah, I was obsessed with it. I will say I was loving the ride for like, we're at the very end of the book.
Yeah.
And then there's a pretty pivotal twist at the end of the book.
Yeah.
That I will admit at first really upset me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was ready to give it 5 stars. And I still think I gave it like either 4.5 or 4.75 because on Storygraph you can do like quarter stars. So it's definitely still above a 4. But I was like, dude, part of me's like, I do and I don't want to say it. But it's like, if there's free spoilers, we all know what happened. The reveal about Billy, I was just like, are you kidding me?
That was brutal.
It was really bad.
Brutal. And it's like, I don't want to rate it lower because of the ending, just because it still is so compelling. Like, I don't think it's a bad ending. I'm just personally pissed off.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That's where I'm at with it.
I feel a little bit like, I felt like we had so many twists up until that point that I was like, this has been so satisfying.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's like, did we really need one more at the 9th inning?
This bonkers at the very, very end of the book twist. Yeah.
And it does so many things that it's like, well, now I don't know how I feel about certain things.
Yeah. But it leaves you with a lot of questions that I'm sure we'll get into.
Yes, for sure. So, but we will get there. Let's take it back up from the beginning. At the very start of the book, we first get introduced to Amanda, who is in the process of trying to kill the man who killed her daughter, Crone. Wallace Crone, I think is his full name. Which, her whole plot to do that seems pretty risky. She's on the subway and is trying to basically use loud noises to help cover up what happens.
Which is like, if you've ever been on a subway, it's like, I'm pretty sure you'd still notice if somebody got shot right next to you. Her plan is a gun. She's like cleaning it with like a like a baby bottle cleaner. You remember that part? Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is I'm having to suspend a lot of disbelief like right at the jump, but like I'm glad I stuck with it because it really is worth it. But yeah, it was like I've spent a lot of time on the subway. I lived in Boston for years, and granted, Boston is not New York City in the sense that like the subways aren't as crowded. There's not as much foot traffic.
Yeah,
but like
it's certainly similar.
Still,
Yeah,
like it would not work. So I'm really happy she got forwarded.
Yeah, as inevitable as it would be. But yeah, her story is really sad. The fact that her child is taken and then murdered. And then on top of that, her husband feels so much guilt for, just the 1 second of like missing what happened. He then kills himself.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. I actually was then thinking later, like, we have 2 husbands who eventually kill themselves because of guilt around whether they directly caused a murder or they feel as though they caused a murder.
And there are only 2 husbands.
Yeah. Zero husbands by the end of the book.
Right. We're husbandless.
Evelyn Hugo who could never. Well, I guess she could actually. She runs through a lot of them. Immediately very sympathetic for Amanda because it's just like, I mean, this sucks. And especially to the way that she describes, like she clearly loved her life. Like she felt like she was living her dream. Like she had the husband of her dreams, the child of her dreams.
And I was wondering like how recently this had happened because when you get to a point later in the book where it says that she cries for the first time over it. And so it's like, this has obviously affected her more than like any words could possibly say to lose your child and your husband.
Yeah.
But then it's like, she's so overcome with grief that she can't even cry about it.
Yeah, until, like fully process it.
Until like something happens later in the book and she kind of switches gears.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's devastating. It's a horrible, and this is common in thrillers, right? Where you get like this one thing that happens that's like horrible beyond belief. And in this book, it just keeps happening.
Yeah. Somehow the most tragic things will happen to the same 5 people.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember how long ago in the story it happens, but I think it is, relatively recent. Like, certainly last 5 years, but I don't think quite that far. Like, maybe a couple years at most.
You're having to, like, not be super clear on the timeline throughout the whole book anyway.
Yep. That's a point.
Yes.
A point made by the author. I did have one note from chapter 1. It only takes one mention of a baseball cap for me to assume that you are using a Joe Goldberg disguise.
Yes.
Because that's all it takes. And it's not the last time that we will have a Joe Goldberg level of disguise in this book. People really just think a ball cap and some sunglasses will do it.
Calling it good.
Yeah. So then we get introduced to our other main storyline, which involves Ruth. And she is seems like pretty wealthy, affluent woman living in New York. They own a brownstone, her and her husband. And her story basically ends up being that there is a home invasion that she nearly dies from, and she does not. But even just from her first chapter, I actually picked up so many things. I listened to chapter 2 again this morning to pick up on some other things. And there's so much that comes into play later. She talks shit about Jack and how he is a bad guy.
Oh.
And how it's like anything illegal he's into. And it's like, well, you're going to really need that later.
That's
so
going to come in handy.
Yeah. And truly, in the beginning, I kind of, I guess, forgot how her and Scott's relationship was in the beginning of the book, because obviously after the attack, Scott is like a tremendous husband, like championing her and trying to take care of her. But really, in the beginning, it is not a good relationship.
Yeah.
They are being passive aggressive to each other.
Yeah.
With like little things. All the time, Ruth is kind of talking shit about like, honestly, the main priority, she even says specifically, is that what she likes most about Scott is that he provides security and safety to her. Which is a theme throughout the rest of this book, is that it's all about her feeling safe and her feeling at peace.
Yeah.
There even is also later a point where she talks about how she chooses like not to eat and drink some wine because she wants to reach a certain sense of peace. Like there's a common theme throughout this book that we see with Ruth where she is constantly striving for this like apex of peace, basically. Yeah. Which ends up ultimately being her downfall and leads her down the path that she takes, because you can't ever get there.
Right. And it's hard because it's like her circumstances are making her feel unsafe after the attack.
For sure.
And so it's like she's searching for safety that doesn't exist, but it looks like before the attack even, she was already doing this.
Right, like she was kind of predisposed, basically.
Yeah,
this
so
was the
that's-
worst thing that could happen to her.
Right. Horrible combo.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think about, in reference to this, it did make me think about OCD in the sense of, like, oftentimes people engaging in compulsions to try and, like, satiate an anxiety.
They're like just right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you never fully getting to it, which is why exposure therapy helps, because
Yeah.
ultimately you're never gonna, you know, engaging in compulsions isn't ever going to fix it, which I don't know if she necessarily has OCD. We never exactly saw anything like that, but it's just something that it made me think of. That's like, I don't know. It seems like, girl, maybe you had...
Maybe there was something there already.
There's something there. I mean, she also is 39, has 0 friends.
Oh, she was 39. I was going to ask you that
Yeah.
too. Okay.
Yeah, at the start of the
Wow.
book, she is 39 years old and mentions, I'm light in the friends department.
Damn.
It's like, girl, really?
There's more to life, Ruth.
Yeah, she just seems like her priorities are so confusing.
Yeah. And then she gets attacked
Yes.
and like barely calls 911.
Yeah.
And the only reason he's run off, right, is because like a neighbor, like there was an emergency vehicle responding for a neighbor.
Yes.
So he freaked out and left.
Yeah. There was, okay, I went down a real rabbit hole with a certain plot hole that I found. It's not even exactly a plot hole. It's more like, throughout this book, you will at times be thinking a lot about, like, well, when is this happening in the real world?
Yeah.
Because we later find out that these two storylines between Amanda and Ruth are not happening at the same time, despite certain things making you think that it is. Which, I will say, the author does a really good job of tying all that stuff up. I literally read the book twice because I was like, surely I will find Easter eggs. And it's like, no. He does a really good job of, like...
That shit's on lock.
It's on lock. But there was one thing that I just went down such a rabbit hole, because basically on the night of the attack, Ruth goes home, or she's at home, and she mentions seeing the like twin beams of light, which is supposed to be a memorial for 9/11.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay, so this, and then I'm like looking into this memorial, and later she mentions that the attack happens on September 14th.
Right.
And I was like, how long does this memorial, is this like a year-round thing that these beams of light happen? But no, it only happens on 9/11. So I was going insane in my mind and was like, how is this and I was like, was there a time where at the beginning of like this memorial that they had it for longer? But no, it was always only on 9/11. But I went down a big rabbit hole being like, sir, this was an easy thing. Why? You couldn't have researched this one thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because did we mention this is in New York? Did we
Yes.
say that? Okay.
Yeah, I think we did mention it's in New York, which again makes a lot of sense because it's such a vast and like populous area that like everyone's kind of able to hide in plain sight basically throughout this book. But yeah, so Ruth gets attacked. At one point, I had a random note just being like, I guess she said something about toxic masculinity, and I couldn't help but be like, was this a phrase during the Bush term?
I feel like it was.
That's
I feel
crazy.
like it was.
I was not aware of
Probably
it.
amongst like feminist scholars though. Like
I
I don't know
guess
if it
so.
was in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, I would have been too young to know.
I have no idea.
But I was just like, that's crazy. I didn't realize it. Another character that we get kind of introduced to that exists in both timelines are Farrow and Hernandez, the detectives that are involved in both cases, which again is a reason why I think the timelines seem so consistent, because there's even a time where, because we get a lot of POV switches, so we get a time where it's from Farrow's perspective, and they even talk about Crone during Ruth's timeline.
Yeah.
But it's referring to his first murder.
Well done.
Yeah. So they did a good job. Sorry, just to go back to, so we end up finding out that Ruth's timeline takes place in 2007. Because of that, I was like, man, what was going on in 2007? What do you think the number one song was in 2007 around the time of her attack, 9/11?
It had to be like Fergie or something.
That's a good, it's not right, but
Okay, what is it?
it's Soulja Boy.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And then I thought this was number 2. It's the number 1 British song was Beautiful Girls by Sean Kingston.
Yes.
So all the same realm.
Great.
Just to set the scene. There's some foreshadowing during some of the Farrow chapters that was indicating that Ruth's description of her perpetrator describes a lot of people. And it turns out a lot of people do look exactly like Mr. Blue Eyes.
Right, because all we know is that he was tall.
He was tall.
And had blue eyes and said, "Hello there, sweetheart."
Yeah.
Right? And that's literally it.
Yeah, and there's like general things about like he has sharp cheekbones and
right.
brownish hair.
But he used
hair.
chloroform, so she was out for the actual
She only saw a reflection
attack.
of him.
Right, yeah.
That was another thing too.
Scary.
Yes. To get back to Amanda, Amanda basically, she got caught for trying to kill Crone, and so now she's getting sued by Crone for that.
For $500,000 in damages.
He didn't even die.
Come on. This is a rich man.
Yeah, you do not need $500,000.
Who is only not in jail because of his daddy.
Being rich.
And he is suing this woman whose family is dead for $500,000. Pissed me off.
Yeah.
Like, get it together.
Just get a restraining. I guess he did get a restraining order.
He did get a protective order, but it's like, did she really cause you that much harm by being in your space when she wasn't supposed to be? Like, I'm not saying that anybody should ever violate a protective order. I am just saying in this particular scenario, like, sure, she meant to hurt him, but she never did.
Yeah.
And he didn't
and is
know about the plot.
$500,000 really gonna...
Right.
Is that not money you already have?
Oh my gosh.
So as a result of that, Pharaoh helps Amanda get...
A lot of names about
so
to
many
come up.
18 million names. Gets her like improves her sentence or her punishment, and she just has to go to like group therapy basically.
Yeah.
And this is where Amanda then meets Wendy, aka Naomi, aka Ruth, in the future.
In the future. You don't know that yet.
You don't know that yet though. Which, fun fact, it's easy to think in retrospect, like, well, how long was Ruth in this group?
Right.
Basically. And I think I remember now at the end of the book, she says that she had only been in that group for like a week or two before meeting Amanda.
Well, how serendipitous.
Yep.
Because she's there to like scout out people for this plot that she has, right? Which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, how is it that she just so happened to run into like the person most ripe in the world for like actually undergoing this plot for her? If she was only there for a week, that's just really lucky.
Yeah, honestly, and she talks about later like her specifically looking out for people that want to take revenge. And I'm just like, I'm not sure what you saw in Amanda to like confirm that for you. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how she picks up on these things to then make them her targets. But
I don't know. I think that them going out to the bar together is probably what really cleared that up for her.
Yeah,
and
probably.
It was just like they just so happened to both end up together that night, because I'm pretty sure Wendy says something in the group that's like along the lines of like, screw your forgiveness, like it's not going to do anything to bring anyone back to like somebody else in the group.
Oh.
And Amanda's like,
yeah,
that's how I feel. Like,
yeah.
I'm not here. Like somebody in the group had lost someone in 9/11, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when the guy in charge of the group was like leading them into a discussion about forgiveness, Wendy was like, yeah, right. Yeah. And I think that's where Amanda piqued her interest.
Yeah.
And then they go to the bar together.
Okay. Yeah, that probably is it. Like, even if she didn't say something, Amanda probably...
I think Amanda followed her.
Oh, yeah.
To the bar.
Yeah, she saw her there and approached her.
Yeah.
So that's her line. Is that your move? Talks about fuck forgiveness and just see who comes to her.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So anyway, as a result of that, they end up talking. They reveal their true names to each other, I think.
Yeah, they like take out their IDs because they're at a bar and they're like, "Are you gonna let me look?" And it's like kind of flirty, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, wait, what's happening here?
And then the wild part to me is that like post bar, and this was another place where I had to suspend some disbelief, was that Amanda actually went to Wendy/Naomi's place and stayed the night, which I'm like, call an Uber. Like, what are you doing crashing on this woman's couch?
Yeah, honestly.
She's obviously full of rage. You just met her. Yeah.
Honestly.
What?
They must have felt really good about their conversations.
They must have just like really hit it off, because that is I'm like, that's some shit I would have done in like college. It's been like, oh, we just met. That's okay. We're best friends now. Can I stay the night? Great.
Yeah.
That is not something I would do now that I have like a fully developed frontal lobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point, I guess we had a Pharaoh chapter where I wrote, poor Pharaoh has had back problems for over 10 years.
Okay, I have so many notes that are just like, Pharaoh's life is bleak, dude.
Like, he really needs boundaries.
I feel bad for him.
There's so much going on with him.
Yeah.
He is too invested. I understand that has got to be a hard job.
Sure.
To, like, not be invested, but it's like, my guy, you are living your life burning the candle at both ends.
You're doing it wrong. You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, you can't keep doing this.
Yeah. There's like later on Thanksgiving, and it's like, Pharaoh was alone. He was in pain.
Yes, he goes home to eat like a TV dinner.
Yes. It's just like, duh.
Come on. Poor guy.
And there's also a chapter in there about Ruth just having emotions. In a Ruth chapter, like not when she's Wendy/Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
And it's her like ruminating on the date of like how she can't handle it any September 14th afterwards, like in the years to come.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, okay, the PTSD portrayal is actually super well done, because I feel like it's done with a lot of care, but it's also like she's allowed to be a complicated character, you know, like she's not good or bad really.
Yeah.
Like she's a serial killer, which is bad, but also she's like,
you can see how she got here.
you can see how she got, you can trace those lines exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's like for I don't know, Cavanagh to be, is that his last name? Cavanagh? Yeah. For him to be like, this is like, she was having trouble with A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And it's like all textbook, like PTSD, just like nightmare stuff. It really made me feel for Ruth too.
Yeah.
And that's like, I don't think I've ever felt, granted, I didn't know yet that she was a serial killer, but I don't think I've ever felt like that for a serial, because even afterwards, when I found out she was a serial killer, I was still like, oh, poor Ruth.
Yeah.
And that's a weird place to be.
It really is, because it's just like you can see where it starts to go off the hinges, but you're also like, part of me's like, what are you supposed to do in that situation?
Exactly.
You know? Like, how do you help someone in this? Yeah, that's going through this.
She needed a lot of support that she didn't get.
It's honestly crazy to me. I mean, she was hospitalized for 7 years, I think, post her husband's death.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what were you guys doing in those 7? I'm just like, clearly it did not stick.
It didn't take.
6 months after she has her first kill.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if she
know.
was doing the thing where she was really good at like masking or like kind of tricking them into believing that she was doing better or what.
Yeah.
But yeah, good golly, girl. So I have a note that Ruth buys a dress online, and for some reason that doesn't feel possible in 2007.
I think I bought my first dress online in 2009, 2010. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
It was from Urban Outfitters, and it was for my New Year's Eve party.
Wow.
It was gold and beautiful.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I also bought around that time some like gold, like Oxford style shoes.
Ooh.
I think also for, I don't know if
I
ever
had
wore
gold
those.
Sperry's. My friends called them my Liberace shoes.
That's so funny.
Hey, Carl.
2009 was so Urban Outfitters coded.
Yeah. And those chapters with Pharaoh in there, too, when it's like Pharaoh and Hernandez talking about like whether or not they would take matters of justice into their own hands.
Oh, yeah.
Like the extrajudicial like murder by cop for like killer who never received his due is pretty wild to me, because I was like, I'm pretty sure Pharaoh's been doing this for a long time. Are you meaning to tell me that this is the first instance of like a mother and child like not getting justice?
For sure not.
Like, come on.
I mean, literally, Crone himself killed a different child.
Literally.
And a different family did not receive justice.
Exactly. So I was like, spare me.
It's like, I'm sure to some degree it builds up.
Sure.
But like still, I don't know. My impression is that by the end of this book, Pharaoh is like near retirement.
Yeah.
So that's still, I mean,
God, I hope he retires. I hope he gets to rest after this. And they have no leads but won't release a sketch.
I know. And it's like, I mean, I guess I understand if it's like, it is such a basic face, but I'm still like, I mean, why not?
Why not? You have nothing to go on.
You might as well.
Yeah. And I know that was really frustrating for Scott and Ruth too.
Yeah, I did feel, I don't really know how I feel about Scott in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. How do you feel about Scott?
He's kind of a good guy in some ways. Because he did genuinely care about his job when he used to work as, like, a prosecutor.
Yeah.
Like, he seemed to really care about bringing people to justice and finding that for people. But there is a little bit of, like, part of me is a little bit like, you did not seem to love your wife so much before she was attacked, and then once she was. But then he was great after that, and I don't know. Part of me is like, well, I mean, that is the right response.
It's the right response.
Yeah.
But I'm just obsessed with him in general because, like, his whole thing, I don't know. I just don't think he was a very great character because, like, his whole thing was he was heavily bullied in school.
Mm-hmm.
But we know him as, like, this huge, beautiful macho man
Yeah.
who, like, is a hardcore, high-power lawyer. And, like, they say, like, that's the motivation of why. But I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't have a bow on it for me. So I'm kind of, like, having to suspend a little disbelief there, too, as well. Because I'm like, if
you're this hot now, you had to have been hot enough to not get bullied in high school.
or at least if you weren't hot, you were at least big, right? Like, were you getting beaten to a pulp by, like, a group of people? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I was just kind of like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah. And we did get some POV chapters from him, but, like,
We don't have a lot to go on.
not that many. It was really specifically this initial one to kind of introduce more of his personal thinking, and then the chapters where he murders the guy, and then
Which, like,
things kind of around that.
I do respect how he treated Ruth
Right,
throughout
like,
all of this,
He
for
believed
sure.
her 100%.
And I understand, like, how he was feeling. Oh, I don't understand. I've never killed anybody. But, like, at the end, I can see how he had all these really raw, like, obvious emotions. Like, he obviously has a solid moral compass.
Yeah.
Which is good. I just don't know that I believe the backstory of his motivations. But later in the story, his motivations are very clear.
Yeah.
With Ruth, so.
Yeah. Also, this is a really random thing, but I just remembered this from when I was listening this morning to, like, the second chapter. Ruth gives him shit for, like, oh, well, if Jack's not there, at least you won't come back high from smoking weed. I'm assuming weed, I guess. Maybe it could have been.
And then
other.
she, like, smokes a joint?
Yes!
Yeah.
I was like, then why did you care? Why are you criticizing him?
So unfair.
Let the man have a joint.
I know.
If you're going to do it too.
When I went back and read this book for a second time, or, like, did the chapter summaries for myself, I was like, you obviously have a much better relationship, like, post-assault. It's not bad. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just was kind of like, oh, this was bad before.
Yeah.
And now he's, like, everything. He's her protector. Which, as we have said, is, like, her paramount value in life. So, like, that's everything to her. And that goes haywire.
Yeah. And about this point in the Ruth timeline, they are now staying at that hotel. They finally go out to dinner for the first time in a long time, and she sees the guy, and she swears that he says, "Hello there, sweetheart."
To the waiter.
To the waiter, yes. Which, in the moment, like, the context of it made a lot of sense. That it's like, yeah, a random person at a restaurant might call their
weird, but
waiters.
It could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the future, when we see all the other times that she's clearly experiencing psychosis,
yeah,
and it's like that. There's no way that those people said that. Like, I think
think that man didn't say that at all?
I don't think so.
That's interesting. I thought that he did say that, and it was just a very unfortunate coincidence.
I think the first time around, I wouldn't have thought that, but by the end of it, once you see her seeing every single person that she matches up to this description, it's like,
okay.
I think at the very least, you're not supposed to be able to trust her judgment.
Definitely not.
Looking back. So she freaks out about that, basically tells Scott about it, and Scott is like, okay, I'm gonna check this out. He drugs her.
Yeah, he's like, take this.
Yeah.
Go to bed.
Go to sleep. And then he chases kind of after him, or, like, he sees them. Wait.
They get in the elevator together. He goes back down to the restaurant.
I forgot, actually, because I have it here. Like, Scott POV, and then he does say the word sweetheart. So I think...
Yeah.
I think he did say sweetheart.
Yeah, he says it to Scott, too, because then when they're in the elevator, he makes some also what I would consider equally creepy comment about, like, hope your wife feels better. And it's like, you do not know this man, sir. Like, that's bizarre.
It's like, even if they made a bit of a scene, I don't know, I would just leave it.
Just leave it. Leave it alone.
You don't need to comment.
No.
Yeah, and so Scott kind of realizes because of that, like, he's now on that train track of, like, thinking about it. And he's like, he must be here to finish the job.
Yeah.
He's here to protect his identity and kill Ruth. So then he chases after him and swings a bottle at him.
Yeah.
And then commences...
That's an understatement.
Yeah. And literally by the end of it, they like get into a fight and he stabs him in the face.
Like repeatedly, right? Like that's kind of the gist I got, was that like that's how he ended up actually dying, was he was being stabbed in the face over and over again with a broken wine bottle, which I can't think of many things worse than that.
So very brutal.
And there's some big stuff happening at the same time in the other timelines.
Yes, because in the other timeline at this point, Naomi and Amanda reveal their full identities to each other. They're talking about this plan to kill for each other. And so they're putting all that into... They're talking about it, but from Amanda's perspective, it's like, okay, we have a plan.
Right.
But we have not said, okay, this is when we're going to do it.
Right.
Naomi surprises her by just going ahead and doing it on her own, calling her up the next day, and it's like, hey, guess what? I did it.
I killed Crone.
Yeah.
And so then she's like, not only did I do that, but now you have to murder for me tonight.
Yeah.
Because the cops are going to find Crone's body and they're going to be all over you.
Yeah.
Thinking you did it. And so you won't have a window to go murder Quinn.
Yeah.
So you have to do it right now, which is like so sus.
It's literally the human version of like a phishing email where it's like, sense of urgency, open my link.
Honestly.
Sense of urgency, kill my guy.
It's like, if anybody is asking you for a massive favor right now, you should be wary.
Yeah.
And if it's that favor is murder, maybe, I don't know, do some double checking, which I guess she kind of does.
Yeah. But it's all a little too late.
It's all a little too late. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause she ends up going through with the plan that Naomi sets out for her. The guy that they're targeting, Frank Quinn, hides a phone in his shed, calls that phone. He comes out to go check on it. And then she's supposed to kind of come up and kill him from behind. She gets all the way up to that point. And then is like,
cold feet.
Yeah, I don't think I can do this. And then he turns around and she tries to be like, I'm sorry, this is a misunderstanding. But unfortunately, Frank Quinn is actually a bad man and tries to strangle her to death. And literally, he said, like, he's strangling her and says, go to sleep.
So unnerving. I was like, oh, so this man is evil.
Yes. I was like, he's for sure killed.
Right?
Who fucking says that?
He enjoys it.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, especially to do it with your hands.
With your bare hands.
I don't know. I'm just like...
I hated it.
Yeah. So that was where, in my mind, when I was reading it, I was like, well, yeah, he's a murderer.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And then she, like, finagles a screwdriver out of her pocket, right?
Yes.
And she, like, gets him in the arm. That's how she gets him off. And then she does the big final axe.
Yes.
To the chest.
Yes. Oh, my God. I thought it was so crazy when later on we find out that he didn't immediately die.
Yeah. How?
I'm like, how?
Axe to the chest.
There's nothing that thing couldn't have hit.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild.
She also, in the whole process of this, bangs her knee, which is like a problem for her.
Big problem. She's limping.
She's limping and people are noticing.
And then as she's leaving is when she sees the black Escalade.
Yes. And I think that Billy, who was in the black Escalade too, like, she makes it to the subway station and he, I think, chases after her for a little bit.
For a while, but she loses him. She gets back home and she takes that bubble bath where she's like contemplating legality versus morality. And it's like, ma'am, you just murdered someone.
Yeah. It's too late.
It's too late.
Also, so there's a pretty poignant moment where at the same time that this is post, Scott has killed Patrick Travers.
Yes. Hotel man.
Yes. He kind of freaks out about it and is like, shit. He comes to Ruth and is like, we need to go. And so they head out. They're kind of taking their crazy path. And at the same time, Amanda makes it to Grand Central Station as well. And so there's a point where I think it's Amanda's POV first, where she is going up an escalator and sees a couple going down. And there's a woman with chestnut hair.
Chestnut hair.
And what else did I say? Soft chestnut hair, wide, fearful eyes. The woman looked back at her and then looked away. And so obviously when you're reading that from the other POV, you're like, that's Ruth. That has to be Ruth.
Well, because it's like Amanda in that moment like takes comfort in the fear in this woman's eyes. She's like, I'm not alone, which is weird. But in that moment, you're like, oh, yeah, for sure, Ruth, for sure. And then later it's like, oh, no, that was just some lady.
Yeah. Can even also, I was going to write down a description from Ruth's POV because there is mention that Ruth also notices a woman as she's going down the escalator. There wasn't a whole lot of, like, specific description. It's just that there was a woman. But yeah, I mean, I think as the reader, when you're reading that, that's, like, confirming, like, this is where the timelines are meeting. Because also at this point, this is, like, almost the halfway point in the book. So, as a reader, you're probably a little bit like, how are these two timelines connect? Why are we kind of going between this?
Where is this the moment?
Yeah, like it's probably around this time that I feel like I was kind of thinking that, and so that was a really affirming moment of like, oh, okay,
here we go.
Like we are crossing paths.
Yeah.
Maybe by the end of this book, we're gonna have a even crazier crossing paths.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Not how you think. Jumping back over to the Ruth timeline, they make it all the way to like Hartford, Connecticut, I think, and. I have one quick note where because they say that they're going to go to an Airbnb, and I'm like, does Airbnb exist in 2007? It doesn't! Technically, if you look online, it'll say that it was founded in 2007, but it did not officially launch until 2008.
He didn't read the fine print. Come on, Cavanagh.
Come on, Cavanagh. You do all this research, and you couldn't be bothered to be like, well, it says that it started in 2007, so clearly.
So funny.
So that was a definitive hole. The other, I'm still a little bit like, look, I'm not a New Yorker. Maybe they have the beams up for a couple days and I just don't know about it.
Maybe.
Even though I can't find record of it online. And you think that the internet has everything by now.
That's everything.
But yeah, so they make it to a Airbnb, whatever. Back to the more interesting timeline of events at this point. Amanda, she makes it home. She
takes that bath.
Yeah, she takes that bath. And then I don't even know exactly what maybe she tries to call Naomi to be like, okay, I did it. Or I kind of did it.
And everything.
She can't get a hold of her.
Is disconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she tries to go by her apartment. Wait, no.
Oh, yep.
She sees the thing, I think that maybe she tries to reach out to her, but she's at the coffee shop that she typically goes to like spy on Crone.
Yes.
And
she sees him.
Yeah. Which is devastating.
Which is wild.
Like, it just feels like a so out-of-body, like, worst fear moment. How is this man back? And so then she tries to contact Naomi and tries to go to her apartment. Everything's gone. All the articles are gone. Everything is wiped.
Which, like, I feel like, even though I generally don't see twists coming, I kind of knew that, like, she was going to be MIA. But, like, I did not expect that, like, the apartment would be empty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It just seems like, I mean, that is so much to happen so fast.
That is a lot to do. It was like a nice put together home.
Yeah. Especially, I mean,
like,
the
no red flags.
The details too of like setting up articles and websites and now those are all gone.
That's bonkers.
Like, that is so much work.
Yeah.
To just be gone. Which is even crazier that it's like she's done this multiple times. It's like, this is
does
so much
over
setup.
and over again. Yeah, and I'm like, how are you funding these exploits? Like, do you have a trust fund? Because like,
later on in the book, she says that she's able to do all this from the sale of her home, which I'm still like,
oh,
how much was your home?
What was a brownstone in Brooklyn?
Something like that.
I mean, that was a lot of money, but still, it's like we know this is over the course of like over a decade. And at the end of it, she's still like driving a Mercedes and like has a $400 cut and color.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but she could not be surviving on this for ever.
I don't know.
What was the plan? It doesn't matter. So we do get our first mention of the president in chapter 29. I think it's Amanda's. She says, the news was trailing a statement to be made by the president later that day. The press loved to make him out to be an idiot, and in fairness, he often gave them a helping hand. See, in this quote, I kind of was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, maybe it's Bush. Just because the press making the president out to be an idiot.
Yes.
Like,
that's like a common trope in the Bush era. Yeah. It's like the press v. Bush.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. Which is funny because it's like, oh, I hadn't considered that it wasn't in the present timeline, but to me, if I was going to pick. So I wonder if that was kind of an intentional choice of words by the author to almost subvert you to be thinking the opposite timeline.
Yeah.
For these people, I guess. I mean, I guess we also would assume that everyone is in the same timeline. But anyway. Oh, and then the following chapter, from Ruth's POV, she says, the president was due back from his golf trip to make some kind of statement. Probably something stupid, judging by the man, thought Ruth. So yeah, this is where we're really getting a lot of mentions of the president, which is going to be an ironically major point later in the book. In Ruth's timeline, we get the reveal where Scott has killed this man, and she kind of sees it on the news, I think, and is like, shit. And he's like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, oh my God, thank you so much.
And she's like, stop crying, bitch. This is fantastic.
She's like, this is the best day of my life. I also was like, there's a point where they say something about how he has a long piece of saliva stretched between his lips. And I was like, did we need that? Why? Sometimes I'm like, you don't have to put me.
I don't need to be that in the scene.
I don't need to see that. And I think there's also, I don't know if I wrote this down or like where exactly in this section it happens, but Ruth gives a story about how her mom had cancer and how she specifically remembers like kind of living in fear for what was going to happen to her mom. And she goes to a doctor's appointment with her, and her mom comes out, and she walks out, and she rings the bell, which indicates that you're cancer-free. There's kind of a point made of, like, hearing that bell made her feel a sense of peace. And this is kind of another sort of motif that'll happen again later, that, like, sometimes when she feels that sense of peace, she hears that bell in the distance.
Then we get to the point where Amanda goes into the house.
Oh, yes. So Amanda, trying to understand what happens, she goes back into the house.
Quinn's house.
Which was a nice, I don't know, I was a little bit like, I don't know if you're going to get a whole lot out of this.
I know.
You're really banking on, like, there's going to be some easy evidence to find.
Right. Like, what do you think is going to... Because she's like, everything is gone. There's no mention of this. Like, maybe I can make sense of it by going to his house. And it's like, probably not. But good luck.
Yeah. And, like, it's still only a couple days after, or not even, I think it's the next day.
I think it's the next day.
Yeah, it's like the cops.
And then while she is there, Pharaoh and Hernandez show up to the house.
Yep.
Which, like, my anxiety spiked at this point.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the fuck is she gonna do? Like, what is she gonna do?
Yeah.
All she can do is hide under the bed. And, like, the only thing she has going for her is they have no reason to suspect she's there.
Yeah.
That's literally it. But then it's like Pharaoh's right next to her, like at the bedside table, and he's like, his feet are like inches away from her nose, and like
he's like about to bend down to check under the bed.
Yes, and then like Hernandez calls him or something, and he like walks away.
Yeah,
and it's like, was the lockbox under the bed that the money was in?
I don't remember where the lockbox started. At least by the end of it. It was
By
like
the end
to
of
the
it,
side.
She had taken 3 of the 5 rolls of cash out of it and been like, I don't know, this is probably fine.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
It's like, while I'm here. Speaking of, I'm poor.
Then, like, they go out back and she limps away.
Mm-hmm.
And then they see her.
And they know, at this point, they're like, okay, well, that's someone.
She's walking away from this house.
Yeah.
Limping.
And also in a rush. And so it's like the only thing they know is that there is a woman involved in this, and she's limping. Right. These are our 2 facts that we have.
And so this is where Black Escalade Man, Billy, swoops up to save the day, because Hernandez is literally pursuing Amanda on foot and she's about to catch up because Hernandez is not limping. And she just like barely makes it into the Escalade, and they drive away, and they barely don't get his license plate number.
Yeah.
Just like,
you're fucking lucky.
So lucky.
And accurately, Pharaoh notices, I don't think she knew that car. Like, she hesitated to get in.
Yeah.
They're catching on very easily to what's going on.
That's when we go back to Ruth, and she sees that the man Scott killed, was in Hawaii at the time of her attack on like a tour with, there was a whole thing
about like, oh, there's connections to the mob, and like, speaking of, this is them at the mob's private island.
Right. And the date is September 14th.
Yeah.
And it all just comes like crashing down on her that like, this wasn't Mr. Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
They've killed an innocent man.
Yeah. Crashing down on Scott Tooth. That like,
really crashing down on Scott.
He was like feeling bad about it, but at least there was a little bit like, but this was the man that tried to hurt my wife.
And this scene is excruciating. He's like punching cabinets, like breaking knuckles, like vomiting in the sink, screaming. Like, it's bad.
Yeah, like this is worst case scenario. You killed I mean, was he exactly a good guy? I don't know, but you didn't need to kill him.
And then we get a chapter with Amanda going to the diner with Billy. It's jarring.
I felt like we were doing a good job, though, of like pretty high suspense things are happening. Because I think that, too, when we get introduced to Billy, he is like, I think we're looking for the same woman. So it's like, what's happening?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it is very much, it's hard because it's like, no, I don't want to leave. But it's okay. I like where this is going. So we get to hear, I think, from Billy, which this is where, I had been starting to take a lot of notes because we know who Billy is by the end of this. And so I'm taking a lot of notes about, like, what do we see about him? Amanda notes that he wears a pinky ring. I thought that was weird. I was like, is this supposed to make me think that
I'm wearing a pinky ring?
And I feel safe.
I didn't do that on purpose.
Hold on, I'm wearing a ring.
There you go.
But
twins.
Same. But yeah, I don't know why there was a part of me that's like, is that supposed to make me feel better?
Right.
Is this something intentional by Billy that it's like, hey, I'm a cool guy?
It's the equivalent of like Birkenstocks. Like just something so non-threatening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, look at me, I'm just like you. They get to the diner. She orders a coffee. He orders an herbal tea, which in my mind, again, sending more message of like, I'm just a cool guy.
Right.
I think too that in the early description, Amanda makes a note of his brown eyes, his brown, like, kind eyes or warm eyes, something like that.
So we are like not on high alert with Billy from the beginning at all.
Yeah. He's just some dude. He describes exactly what happened to him, sort of, to Amanda. The version of events that he tells is that he had a wife who died, has this whole story. In my mind, I was a little bit like, could there be truth in this? But we find out by the end that it's all a lie. He's never had a wife. But he meets his version of Naomi, which is Felicia, I think.
Yeah. And
that she also tricked him. And like she even said very similar things about like, the first 2 years are hard. Actually, it's all hard. It never gets easier. And like, they're very specific again. Is that your move? Type stuff that's like not very original with her pickup lines. It's very believable to Amanda because it's like, well, shit, that's exactly what happened to me. Right. She said the exact same thing. And he was also supposed to kill Frank Quinn.
Right.
And so he tells Amanda that he actually, I think he even made it to the house, and it wasn't until then that he backtracked on it and was like, no, I don't think I can do this. Then because of that, he was like, he tried to get back into contact with Felicia. Obviously, she was gone by then. But he was like, she clearly wanted me to kill this man, so I'm going to pay attention to him because maybe someone else is going to end up like me. This is, again, all the, like, Billy's version of events to Amanda. Not exactly what actually happened, but close enough. But also during this conversation, Billy reveals or shows that he found at least one other example of a man who was convicted for murdering someone that seemed to be a target of Ruth's. And so that is, like, kind of their only thing that they have is that, like, okay, we think that she's done this before because
it's a thing.
This guy is saying that he was told to kill this person and he didn't actually want to, but they couldn't find the woman, so it just is what it is. Also not comforting, Billy mentions that the guy was killed after a month in prison. So it's like, oh, so even if I could still stay alive but be in prison, but
yeah,
who knows. Then we go back to Ruth's world. Crazy stuff happening where, Scott is freaking out, and Scott is really clearly realizing just how delusional Ruth is, because I think that in this chapter is where she then sees a new cop and
the
is like,
NYPD media manager.
Yeah. And she swears that he says, hello, sweetheart. And she goes, that's him.
That's him.
That's the guy.
And like doesn't even just like say it, but like has a full body moment of like, you know, the world closes in on her. She fully freaks out. And then is like, that's him. And it's like, oh, wait a second. Like,
yeah.
You actually believe this.
Yeah. And he was like, I viscerally was watching. I experienced all of that.
Yeah.
I did not hear
Right.
I wouldn't have missed that.
So this is the point at which we know, like, oh, Ruth has a serious issue. It's where we find out that it's like, oh, okay, like, this isn't only a case of, like, Scott killed the wrong person, but it's like, Ruth is now, like, fully in psychosis, and, like, anybody she sees who is a man with blue eyes is going to be a target.
Yes, because she's also insisting, you need to kill him.
Yeah, she doesn't just
And
leave
he's
it
like,
at, oh, that's him.
what are you talking about? I killed already one innocent man.
Yeah.
Like, we clearly fucked up. We should not have done that.
Yeah.
Not that he's exactly including her, but, like, he's very much like, that was wrong. And she's like, no. You did the right thing. You just got the wrong person. Do it again.
Do it again.
And, yeah, you can really tell that he is just getting so much guilt. Like,
And we find out that the cops are looking for Scott.
Yes, they have evidence.
They have a picture of him on the screen.
Yeah, it was seeming really hopeful that it's like, oh, maybe they'll think it was a hit.
Yeah.
But no, they have
They figured it out.
Yeah.
Which, like, they were gonna. He was in a hotel.
Yeah. So he's like, shoot, I'm fucked.
And then the chapter ends. And then it's like we go back to a little bit of, like, Billy talking about Felicia and all this stuff.
Yes.
And it's like, I just am annoyed with Amanda at this point because, like, going on my second run through, because I'm like, well, okay, I do have questions about, like, how did Billy know? Did he just insert himself into, quote unquote, Felicia's life to, like, make all these messages happen? Like, are they real?
They are real.
Okay.
He did actually, he did find her online.
Okay.
And they had a conversation.
And she did try and recruit him.
Yes.
Without realizing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
She kind of got lucky. We can get into the specifics
Yes.
of why later in the reveal. But those interactions were accurate. I was also a little bit skeptical of, like,
okay,
did this actually happen or no?
Did he, like, Photoshop these images?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I also was like, how does he know this well? That, like, this is the shit that she says. It's very specific.
Exactly. Yeah.
But no. And so in the process of that, there's they're looking at a bunch of stuff, and then Amanda sees a picture and it's like, oh, how'd you get this picture of Frank Quinn? He's like, that's not Frank Quinn. This is the other guy that got killed.
Yeah.
And so then they do a reverse Google search basically, and they keep finding, or they don't find more and more people yet, but they do eventually find Ruth and her case. They say Naomi at that point, but then we get another POV switch back to Ruth, and this is my favorite chapter, I think, because it's just it's crazy. So to be clear, okay, so this is also the chapter where I stopped reading the first time around.
Okay.
So Scott jumps out of the window. Ruth is a little bit like, she's freaking out, and then everything's kind of happening fast in front of her. The cops come, and, like, it's just very cinematic that it's like,
because he had called the cops right before he jumped to confess.
Yes.
And say, I'm holding Ruth captive.
Yes.
Like, here's where we are. Come get her. And so, not like come get her, but like I'm
trying
the bad
to,
guy.
Yeah, trying to cover.
And then jumps out the window.
Yeah. Everything's just kind of moving in slow motion in front of her. Like, she's just kind of a passenger in all of this while the world is moving. And it's just so exciting, too, because it's the chapter right before the reveal that Naomi was Ruth.
I cannot believe that's where you stopped reading.
Yeah, and then the chapter ends with, and on the TV, President George Bush is talking about Thanksgiving and stuff, and it's 2007. Because here's the thing. I paused right before the reveal that Naomi is Ruth. So I'm just like, what kind of fucking cliffhanger is this that the president's George Bush?
Who cares?
Why does that matter? Like, oh, cool. The president that you've been vague about this whole time. I recorded a video and sent it to Taylor and was like, what? Why did this
What did she say? What was her response? Was she like, keep reading? Or did she just think it was hilarious?
Well, I recorded it the next morning because I was still thinking about it. And I kind of, in the process of, like, talking through it, was like, wait, what if... And so I started to say the thing of, like, what if Ruth is Naomi? And so I think very soon after I then started listening, and then, like, I don't know if she got a chance to respond before I figured it out. And, like, kept reading. Because it's truly, after that chapter, like, if you just go one more minute,
page.
They're like... oh, here's a news article about President Trump. And it's like, oh, Got it.
Yep.
Yep.
There it is. There it is.
There it
There it
is.
is. 2 different timelines.
2 different timelines. And then it's revealed that, yeah, Ruth was Naomi this whole time.
This whole time.
Which I thought was just such a good reveal, because the whole time you're kind of like, I don't know. In my mind, I was just expecting, because I believe that all of this was happening at the same time, that I was like, how is this going to cross over?
Yep.
It worked out so much better than I could have imagined.
And then we have another chapter of just Ruth after that. Just like feeling feelings. And it's like, man, this is what happens when you listen to true crime every single time. It's like, you hear the tragic, like when he figured out that Ruth was a serial killer in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you hear the lead up to like what made that person that way, and you feel bad for that version of the person. And then like it gets to everything they choose to do after that.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can no longer have these feelings about you.
Yeah. But it's so hard because Amanda, like, they're talking about Ruth, and because she's kind of studied some of this stuff, and she's like, there's 2 common responses. Either you hurt so much that you don't want anyone to ever hurt the way that you do, or you hurt so much that you want everyone to hurt like you do. And so, like, it's a little scary that it's like, those are my 2 options.
Yeah.
If this happens to me, I don't know. I'm just like, I hope.
It is scary.
And so it does get confirmed at some point, I think around this time too, that the other Crone murder that Farrow was referencing was the first one that was like a colleague's daughter or something. Oh, and I also love around this time, I think this was actually in Amanda's POV. She says something specific about like, once she realizes who Ruth is and that, you know, she's been here for a while, she said they could have crossed paths so many times. They could have passed each other on an escalator, or perhaps not. Perhaps they never crossed paths at all. It's like,
yeah,
okay, I see.
I get it.
Women can just have chestnut hair. It doesn't mean anything.
Just some lady with chestnut hair.
Yeah.
It ain't Ruth.
In the modern era with Ruth, we do get another mention of her hearing the bell sound, because at this point she believes that Frank Quinn is dead, or at least he's going to be. Like, there's no way he's going to survive this. She mentions that she did do EMDR, but
yeah, in her 7 years after Scott was found dead, or after Scott died by suicide, she went to trial for the murder, and they found her not guilty by reason of temporary insanity, and she went to the hospital for 7 years, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so that's probably where she did all the EMDR and everything.
Yeah.
But she's like driving around in her Mercedes. She did her $400 haircut and color. I'm just like, why are we even talking about this? But okay.
Yeah. Just to show she's got money.
Smoking a cigarette.
Yep. We do get one quick Farrow POV where it mentions that they found Amanda's DNA.
Yeah. It's like Farrow's waiting on the DNA to come back, and he's like talking to Hernandez, and then it does come back, and it's Amanda's DNA.
Yeah, they're like, no. Because at one point I was like, well, maybe it's not.
Because Farrow's like rooting for Amanda.
Yes.
Hardcore.
He is super advocating.
And now it's like he had taken on the Quinn case from the 2 guys who were working it because it was keeping him up at night, because he was like, there's got to be a connection. And then the connection is Amanda.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
Yeah.
So he starts his like lackluster attempt to locate her.
Yeah. Just casually. Hey,
Just
Amanda.
gonna give her a phone call,
I'm
see
at
if
your
she
house.
turns herself in.
Yeah. Can you open the door for me? At this point, Amanda and Billy kind of split. She goes back home, and she continues to do some research, and she finds out that there are way more victims.
Yeah.
Than just like the 2, including Quinn, that they found. She sees that Dan Puccini, the guy that Ruth saw on TV, was like the first one. And there are several victims after, and it's increasing with speed every time. So she really is. It's so interesting because it's like she's a serial killer, but in a very by proxy way.
Right. She's like using other people to be a serial killer.
Yeah, but it's effectively the exact same process. She's just not the one doing it.
Right at that same time that she like finds out she's a serial killer, we go to Ruth, and it's Ruth like deciding on a new person to kill.
Yes. Oh, yes. The family that she sees in the elevator is a woman with chestnut hair. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny. She thinks that she hears the entire family say, hello, sweetheart. Like, the kids, too. Just like,
Yikes.
I don't know. There's a little bit of like, really? Your logical brain couldn't have at least been like, well, that couldn't have been possible.
Psychosis is psychosis, I guess, because that's wild.
Yeah. I also love because the little girl's like staring at her, and the mom's kind of like, don't look at her. I just love the idea that the whole family's kind of creeped out and is like,
yeah,
get away from this lady.
So she like sets her eyes on a new kill.
Yeah. And at this point, she is like, I'm going to do it. And she specifically is like, I want to see him die.
Like, I'm going to do it myself.
I want him to see his family die.
Yeah.
And then he will die. Like, she is going absolutely nuts. And this is especially, too, for her, I think this is all the same day that she's finding out that Frank Quinn is dead. Or, like, believes him to be dead.
Yep.
So, basically same day. Like, she is accelerating so bad.
And Amanda's running from Pharaoh. She's hiding in a laundromat. Now she's asking Billy if she can stay with him.
Yes. And she kind of tells him everything that she found out about all the other murders that happened. And at some point in this, he comes up with the idea of reaching out to Ruth's old doctor at the hospital that she was at. And so they end up getting kind of an appointment with him, and they talk to him. At first, it's not going great because he's like, I can't tell you anything.
He's like, HIPAA.
Yeah. And then she happens to mention Dan Puccini. And thank God this guy's got a great memory. And he's like, Dan Puccini? That was the first guy that she was obsessed with while she was still here. And he was like, so he died? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, that's bad. Let's go get him.
Yep.
Man, there's also in one of these chapters, I think this is from Pharaoh's POV, that there's a random mention talking about Mr. Blue Eyes. Thank you for reminding us before we get revealed who he is, that he hasn't resurfaced since Ruth's attack, which is like, weird. This guy was clearly exhibiting the signs of being a serial killer, and then he just disappeared.
Right.
There's also an interesting use of the word release in this chapter by Pharaoh. He's talking about the release that he feels when he solves murders. I feel like there was also a mention that Amanda gave of, like, release, but I couldn't remember what exactly it was.
I think that's when she was crying for the first time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's just kind of interesting that it's like, we can see in these, I guess, more sane people that it's like, a release doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess the degrees of, like, when is a release healthy and okay versus killing people to achieve it.
Yes.
Anyway. Oh, I forgot also, whenever I think they're going to the doctor, Billy puts on Dolly Parton, and I'm like, really?
Oh my God, honestly. And then he has this whole spiel about how much his wife loved Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
And it's like, you never had a wife.
You never had a wife.
How dare you take Dolly's name in vain?
Exactly. He's like, you know who women love? Dolly Parton.
Honestly, you know who good people like?
Yeah. That woman gives books to children. You can't hate her. After they leave the hospital, which they also, I don't know if this will even come up, they mentioned that Jack was the only person that visited her, and is how she kind of got all her IDs and stuff.
Yeah.
But on the way back from there, Amanda tells Billy, thank you for being a good man.
Woof.
Yeah.
Because the reveal is happening.
Yeah.
Like, we are stumbling headfirst into all of the action right now.
Yeah. Oh, but I forgot. So this whole thing, I have kind of a theory about this. And so I'm curious what you'll think. So she says, like, thank you for being a good man. And he's literally like, well, don't thank me yet, because we're having meatloaf tonight. And she's like, okay, like, what, is your meatloaf not good? And he's like, you'll find out. And so that happens. Like, a couple other things happen in the chapter. I think that, like, Jack calls them, and that whole thing happens. So they're outside after getting off of the payphone. He looks around. He's like, I'm going to show you some mercy tonight. Let's go get a slice while we wait, and we'll rain check the meatloaf. Do you think meatloaf was code for killing her? Because she compliments him and says, thank you for being a good man.
Oh my God. Was he planning on killing Amanda?
I can't, because honestly, it's like, how is he not? Like, what if he thinks at this point, like, I've gotten what I needed from you. Now let me get a fix.
He's about to, like, wrap everything up with the other storyline.
Yeah. Like, he's
so,
imagining...
like, it's time to get back into it.
Yeah.
I could totally see that.
I kind of, because, like, let me show you mercy tonight. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's really
pretty pointed.
It's not like anything exactly it's not like we come back to that, but there's something about the wording of like, well, don't call me a good guy just yet. We're gonna have meatloaf tonight.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to say. Like,
yeah, and meatloaf, obviously.
Right.
I don't grind a person up.
I mean, that's definitely the first place my head went.
Yeah. So I don't know, but looking back, I think that could have been what that was. I think after that too, while they're waiting, Amanda tells him the story. He asks for what the story was with her daughter and her husband, and she tells him, and they talk about Crone, and he's like, they'll get him someday, Amanda. Men like that never change. And then he gets cut off. So again, a little confirmation there of like, look, I know.
Men like that never change.
They never change.
Trust
I didn't.
me. Yeah. Damn. And then Ruth just starts going for it.
Yeah.
Ruth's at the hotel. Scott's voice is in her head. Like, don't do it.
Yes. I literally, because she's kind of practicing some EMDR, like, kind of coping mechanisms. Try and, like, calm herself down because she's hearing, like, the chains on the box in her head moving. And so part of me was almost like, whenever she hears Scott's voice and then she's like, I put a towel over the box and now I can't hear it. I'm like, is Mr. Blue Eyes even in this box or is it Scott?
Honestly.
Like, what have you been...
We're doing the wrong thing
here.
here.
You put away the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You put away the thing that keeps you human
Listen to Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Scott's like a martyr at this point.
Truly.
Yeah.
She also mentions that she never met any of her accomplices from the online groups, but she didn't trust them as much as her in-person ones. So we're getting a little more insight into what her process was with picking these people. Another Joe Goldberg disguise enters the chat. She puts on a baseball cap and sunglasses to take in this fruit basket. That'll do it. But straight up, I was like, oh my gosh, she's already killing this man.
It's like, I was like, did Ruth just kill this doorman?
Truly, because she is hitting him until he is bleeding.
Bad.
And then she strangles him.
Bad.
I was like, well, that's it for that guy.
And then Billy goes up when Amanda and Billy get there. It's like everybody's sort of getting there once, but not really. Like first is Ruth, and then it's Amanda and Billy.
Yeah,
and
we get a little time hop back to see that they actually saw her getting in her car.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Billy goes up, and Amanda stays with the doorman, and it's like, no.
Yeah, it's all scary. Also very convenient that Ruth is not a fan of the type of escalators or elevators that they have in this hotel, so she takes the stairs, which gives Billy enough time to take an elevator up and get there at the same time.
And then Farrah and Hernandez get there.
Yep. Farrah's like,
hey, Amanda.
I've been looking for you.
Fancy seeing you here, fugitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because especially, hold on, where did we get it? So we find out that the thing that Farrah was actually wanting to call Amanda about was not that they found her DNA at Quinn's place,
but that Crone
was an anonymous tip was called in that Crone was like at like a school parking lot or something. And so they brought him in, they were testing his vehicle for DNA and nothing came back. So that is what the DNA lab call was referencing, was that they were looking into DNA for Crone. Nothing came out. And he was just like, I felt like I should tell you, even though nothing came of it, but I feel like you needed to know. And that's when she puts together that Ruth must have been the one to do that because they detained him for a couple of days. And so that's why he was missing and seemingly dead.
Right. That's why he didn't go to his psychiatry appointment or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I guess he's gone. And then she sees him, and it's like the most jarring moment, like a couple days later. And it's because he was out of custody.
Yeah. Then we're back in Ruth's POV. She's on the 10th floor. And then Billy comes up. She sees Billy.
Oh my God.
And is kind of like, he looks familiar, but I don't know. And then he says something like, hey, do you remember me? And like gives his username. And then she says that she does remember Billy from her online group and that he was a good candidate, but he wanted to meet in person first. So this is where we have our first deviation before the full reveal, that it's like, well, that's not exactly what Billy told Amanda.
Right.
Billy said that he fully went to Frank Quinn's house and then changed his mind. But Ruth is saying that he didn't want to go through with it until they could meet in person. And she was like, I don't meet people in person. We're not doing that.
Right.
She also mentions that his eyes are the color of brown sugar, which I was like, I wish someone said that sooner because that seems like a really unnatural eye color in my opinion. That gives a little bit more of colored contacts to me.
Yeah.
Instead of just like brown. Because at first I was like, okay, brown. Yeah, that's the best cover you can get.
Yeah.
Brown eyes are going to look like brown eyes.
Right.
He takes out his contacts.
Oh my
Which,
God.
especially too, the idea of just taking out your contacts is like, it's just that easy.
It's that fucking simple.
Oh my God, I just had contacts in the whole time. It was me.
And then we get that classic Ruth moment of like the world shrinking around her.
Yep.
And the horror entering.
And he actually says, hi there, sweetheart.
Ugh.
Yeah. And he mentions that he did continue killing after Ruth. He just moved away. And he said that it sucked and it made it harder because he wasn't as familiar with his surroundings. And then he kind of caught wind that Ruth was hunting him because he was seeing, I don't know exactly how he saw, but he saw from the beginning these murders happening, Dan Puccini dying and all these other people. And he's like, these all look like me. He's is clearly
tracking her.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yes.
She's not crazy.
Yeah, that was, oh my God, I forgot that I wrote that down. At one point, like, she says something, like, the paranoia is coming back, and it's like, I feel so bad because, like, you shouldn't be paranoid that someone's coming after you, but also...
But it's happening.
But it is happening. He is coming after you. You kind of caused it because you were killing people that look like him. And
well, I don't know. Like, he might have still tracked her to finish the job.
That is true.
Even if she hadn't been doing this.
He made it seem like he was only doing it because he was like, well, I got to get you before you get me. But, I mean, yeah, not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but, like, maybe. And that would be even more devastating, as if the only reason he's still pursuing her is because she's pursuing him.
Yeah.
That would be devastating. We don't really get a clear answer on that, but, like, we don't really need one. This is all so messed up.
Yeah. And then he says something about how he realized at some point that she was killing for pleasure. I don't remember how he picked up on it, but...
Yep.
But it's accurate.
Yep.
I just feel so bad because she's having the exact same reaction. You start to hear a commotion. People are coming up.
They're getting there.
He puts in contacts like it's nothing.
Just pops them back in.
Which I can't imagine.
I can do it.
Yeah. We've literally had... I literally was like, motherfucker. I could never. I have called Paige.
We have FaceTimed for help with Carly getting contacts in her eyeballs.
And I got one in. And then I couldn't get the other one. Because after the first one, it's like, well, surely I can get the other one. Goodbye. And then no. I'm stuck with glasses forever.
That's okay.
I can't do it.
But Mr. Blue Eyes, on the other hand, is kind of like me. He's been doing this his whole life. He's a pro.
Fucking asshole.
He just left it on the tip of his finger to pop right back in for that whole conversation.
I think that's what I hate about him the most, actually.
Honestly, diabolical.
Yeah. And then so fucked up that when everyone gets there, you know, the doctor's there and is like, Ruth, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, it's him. It's him.
It's him.
And he's like, it's just like you said, Billy. She's exhibiting the exact same paranoid symptoms as before. And it's like, no!
And then he sedates her.
Yeah.
It's like...
she's not doing anything. She doesn't even have the gun at this point.
No,
I think he took it.
The gun had gone off.
It had gone off, but she didn't have it.
She didn't have it.
But I guess they don't know what other...
And they're like, oh, we gotta be careful. Like, she's the one who came here to kill. She's the one who's been killing. But it's like, no.
There are 2 serial killers in this room.
2 of them. And the worst one, the one who started everything.
The whole reason why this lady's murdering.
Is the guy you're believing. Which is just like fucking classic.
Fucking
you know what I mean?
classic.
Like, of course we're gonna listen to this man.
Yeah.
Over this woman. And it's like... Sure, we don't necessarily have any reason to not believe Billy, but it's like she loses all credibility, period, in that moment. And it's so unfair.
Yeah.
It's so unfair. It like hurts your guts to have gotten this far with Ruth and then to end on this note. And because this is the end.
Yeah.
Like the end of, which is what we were referencing at the beginning of this podcast, is like, God, this is really how we're gonna do this. Like, every single note I wrote on this chapter is in all caps.
Yeah, exactly.
It's excruciating.
Yeah, it is so upsetting. And this is truly where I was like, we have gone too far. I wanted Ruth to be captured. I didn't want her to, like, see her attempted killer and then him get a satisfying end and her come down.
And then she goes back.
Like, she pays a price.
Institutionalized again.
And he doesn't. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's so frustrating.
It's bad.
Yeah.
And it's all because of these freaking contacts. Come on.
Colored contacts?
Come on.
I've never seen colored contacts that I believed in. Are you kidding me?
I know.
Because
especially in 2018 or whatever this was. It's like, we weren't doing a good job of that.
Brown sugar eyes. In my mind, if I'm looking at brown sugar eyes, I'm seeing Edward Cullen's eyes.
Totally.
Like, that's an ambery, weird color.
There's a sparkle in there that's unnatural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Nonsense.
What are you going to do? Accuse him of... I don't know. Just stupid.
Stupid.
Anyway, so we get to our last chapter, which takes place 2 months later. It's in Amanda's POV, and good news for Amanda. She has a job now. Working in art, too, which is nice because she originally was an artist. But she's with Pharaoh, and they're talking. He gets her, like, a coffee or something, and is like, so, we got a DNA match back from Frank Quinn's. It's weird. It popped up with yours. Do you know anything about that? And she's like, I don't know this man. And he's like, yeah, it's just kind of weird because I noticed he had a limp.
Ooh.
And we knew that our suspect had a limp. So.
Clumsy me.
Yeah, I just slipped on some ice.
Yeah.
Oopsies. And then he's like, well, Quinn was a money launderer for the mob, He was a bad guy.
Yeah.
So you could say that he had deserved what he got, which is a little crazy.
Which is a little wild, but this is where his vigilante justice does come into play, and I'm kind of like, okay, he's kind of putting his money where his mouth is, so I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just gonna let this one go. And you're like
okay. And you find out that Crone was tortured and killed.
Yes.
So Amanda's really coming out on top.
She has a great day.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not getting convicted of murder, and the guy that you wanted dead is dead.
Yep.
And he literally suffers the exact same fate that her daughter did.
Yeah.
He was tortured, stripped naked, and thrown in a dumpster, just like her daughter was. And then they get back in Pharaoh's car, and he puts in a Dolly Parton CD. Oh, yes, because I forgot that was another thing. When Crone died, he was like, just checking. What were you doing the night of when Crone died?
Yeah.
She was like, oh, I was at a Dolly Parton concert.
Yeah.
A friend got me tickets. Convenient.
They're still in contact, and in fact, she does get a letter from Billy.
Yes. She literally has it. She just happened to not open it. They put in the Dolly Parton CD. The song that's playing is It's All Wrong, But It's All Right.
Woof.
What a choice.
Woof.
And so I wrote down what Billy wrote in the letter. He says, I never had a wife, never mind one that was murdered. It is my hope that you might forgive me. I already knew Ruth's real identity before I even met you, but I didn't want to draw attention to myself. I needed a buffer between me and the police, and a person that Dr. Marin, the doctor, would trust. It was better that I had someone with me for the ride. I would like for you to burn this letter if you don't mind after reading it. I want you to know that before Crone died, he admitted to killing your little girl. I thought you deserved that closure. It's unlikely we'll meet again. Good luck and enjoy the rest of your life, sweetheart. Kiss. And she goes to the beach. She takes Sparkles, her daughter's unicorn.
Yeah, the stuffed animal.
And the letter, and she burns them both. It's just like, goddamn. Oh, one more. There was a mention of the sun slitting through a chestnut tree. And for a moment they were bathed in golden sunlight, which is really funny because there's a moment that when Ruth is talking about like the feeling of relief that she gets whenever a kill happens, she talks about how she feels like she's in golden hour.
Yeah.
And literally that's described as golden
happening.
hour, and it's like Ruth only wishes.
And only for Amanda.
Yeah. That's how the book ends.
Exhausting.
It really is exhausting.
Riveting. Exhausting.
It's just so like, well,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. A lot of people got justice.
A lot of people did, and Ruth really did not, and neither did Mr. Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neither did Scott.
Neither did Scott.
Poor Scott, dude. I mean, everything about this book is like, you kind of just have to take it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's so emotional, and it's so like kind of absurd that there are points where you like want to bargain with it. It's like,
yes.
You're like, well, what if instead?
Yeah. What if we didn't at the last second make Billy Mr. Blue Eyes.
We just didn't do that. But it happened. Cavanagh did it. We read it. And now we're doing a podcast about it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, truly very impressive book. I haven't seen anything else. Like, I couldn't tell you another Steve Cavanagh book, but...
I heard of another one when I was doing some research for this, but I think it was like, don't quote me on this. I'm on a podcast. I don't know. It's quotable.
We're quoting you.
But it's like, I wanted to say it was called like 13 or something like that. And then it had like the E's backwards as like 3 E's.
13 Reasons Why?
No. No.
Oh, he has a lot of books. Oh, there is one called 13. And there's
That's the one that I hear the most about.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really intrigued. Oh, interesting. There's a whole, because it has like a number. So it's like there's a...
Oh, series?
Yeah, a series, like maybe a detective type series.
Cool.
Wow,
I would definitely...
there's 8 of these books.
Wow. I would definitely be willing to read some more Steve Cavanagh.
It's just so impressive that it's like, if you did that, I trust you.
Yeah. Because, like, I really, truly don't see twists coming. It's, like, both a flaw and a great joy of mine that, like, I can, like, Shutter Island, I had no idea. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And, like, I kind of prefer it that way because it's, like, more enjoyable to actually, like, instead of, like, fighting with the content, to be like, I'm going to figure it out. It's nice to me, personally, don't come for me, to be like, well, I could just, like, let it happen and see where it goes. You know? Like, I prefer to consume media that way. And even Taylor, who is not that way at all.
Yeah. Overactive brain.
Was still just like, oh my God. And that was really validating for me because I was like, if I had listened to it alone, I could have very easily been like, did everyone else know the whole time? And it was just me. But no, like, it definitely was not just me who did not see all of these twists coming. Like, I know some people have said, like, well, I did see a little bit of the timeline thing happening. Like, I kind of figured that maybe there was something going on there. But even then, it's like, you know, people didn't really pinpoint exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Which is impressive.
Yeah. And there's so many twists, too, that's like, even if you pinpoint
there's
that
so
one.
many. Exactly.
Like, odds are you're going to be surprised by something.
Exactly. Which is really fun.
Yeah. 100% agree. I love this book. Highly recommend.
Glad we got to talk about it.
Same. I hope that you got a little bit of that bell ringing satisfaction from this podcast, hearing us talk about it.
Go eat some chestnuts.
Go eat some chestnuts. Don't eat meatloaf.
Don't eat the meatloaf.
Skip the meatloaf. Get some pizza.
Get a slice.
For the next book that we are covering on the book club episodes, we're going to be talking about Enchantra, which is the sequel to Phantasma, which we covered at the beginning of this year. So I would recommend reading Phantasma if you want to know about Enchantra. So you got 2 books to read if you haven't already. But odds are maybe you have read Phantasma. So that'll come out in about a month or so, as soon as I can get it out. Paige, what do you think you're going to read next?
Ooh, well, I'm recovering from a hip replacement right now.
Yeah, this is a new and improved Paige.
This is me laid up on the couch for a couple more weeks. So, I have a couple things I've really been wanting to read, and I've started 2 books in the period, like, recently that I have decided I didn't want to finish.
Oh.
2 of them, which, like, never really happened. Like, it happens sometimes, but never, like, 2 in a row.
Yeah, that's really unlucky.
And I didn't think they were, like, bad books. I think I'm just in a very particular mode of, like, surgery recovery right now, where I was like, I didn't want something that was, like, kind of horror genre, which is what I started. And I got into it and I was like, ooh, I'm uncomfy. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So now I think I'm going to start Remarkably Bright Creatures.
Oh, okay.
And I feel pretty good about that, but I need something on the
positive side.
Comfier side. Yeah, I like a woman befriending an octopus, you know?
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
That sounds great, yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
Maybe you should read some romance.
Maybe. I don't usually do that, but I could.
Yeah. Now's a good time. I have recommendations.
All right.
But yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for... Oh, I wish I recorded... I don't have my outro because my computer wasn't working. But you roughly know the things that I normally say. Maybe I'll add a little recording afterwards with what I normally say at the end. But thank you to Paige for joining me in this episode. Everyone say thank you, Paige. And thank you all for listening. We will see you in the next episode. And like this episode, comment on this episode, leave a review, follow us on Instagram, and gosh, I think we're on something else.
And give Carly a hug when you see her.
Give me a hug. I love hugs. I love physical touch. Wait, don't come near me.
Yeah, wait, it depends.
Give me a virtual hug by liking whatever
There
this
we
is.
go.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.